All right, we are back for round 12 of Monster Energy Supercross and RM Fantasy SXperts. I am Chase.
I'm Christian.
We are the RM Fantasy SXperts. Round 12, Christian. Season is going by quick.
Yeah, it's going by fast all of a sudden, so it's going to wind down.
But we got a lot to talk about. Indianapolis, it is in the books. New scan, first win, but let's get into it. Here it is. This is our race recap. All right, Christian. So for round 11, Indianapolis, let's talk about results.
All right, but hold on. I mean, what do we got going on here?
This is not because we got destroyed in points.
This isn't a symbol of our season right now.
No. So if you guys are watching, if you're listening, I'm in a sling right now. If you're watching, we were shooting some gear stuff earlier this week, and the sand, it caught me off guard. Riders talk about sand in Supercross, how they don't like it. Well, I don't like sand right now because I went for a little flight. I got a little shot of it, actually, and yeah, landed on my shoulder, busted me up. Pretty good separation.
I'm just saying 10 years ago, you walk away.
Oh,
everything's fine.
10 years ago, I'm 24 years old, I walk away.
We're falling apart. Our
at the seams.
Our picks and our bodies are falling apart.
Well, let's talk about results here. Let's get back to the meat here. Marvin Musquin takes his first win of the year.
In dominant fashion.
Whole shots, leads every lap. Same thing last year. Blake Baggett, another second place. Cooper Webb rides home in third. Tomac,
something happened.
Weird fourth place. We'll talk about it more. Justin Barcia, congrats to that man.
Area 51.
Out for a couple weeks, coming back, fifth place. And Justin Bogle.
Takes his another wild card on the season.
Yeah,
so
he's done it multiple times this year. Do you have any highlights you want to bring up?
Let's just talk about finally the 7 Deuce makes the main.
Did it?
In just pumped with flair, pizzazz. It was awesome.
Super bright gear.
Yep. So that was pretty good.
Webb jumping on the tough block, still making the pass on Tomac. Did you see Tomac try and kick Webb away when that happened?
Weird. Things are getting personal, I think.
But other than that, I mean, I was kind of bummed on the track layout.
Yeah, I wish the sand would have been there. I don't know. That's me. And a lot of good, but some bad. I mean, let's just get it out of the way.
Your boy Coley Cole.
My boy Coley Cole crashed hard in practice, broken femur. Get well soon out there.
Wish you luck, Cole.
Miss you out there.
All right, but as far as our points go, you and I didn't do too hot. We each got 20 points. But how'd the users do?
The users were looking pretty good. 62.13% of users had Roczen in their picks, though, which is kind of crazy.
I did not.
No, I did, but what do you do about it? The crazy thing to me is more people picked Ken Roczen to win at 12%, then Marvin at 7%.
Wow.
Bowers was the most picked wild card, including me, took 13th. And Justin Barcia just comes out of nowhere. Only .88 had him in 5th. More people picked Dean Wilson, Justin Hill, Chad Reed, Cole Seeley's, and Zach Osborne there than Barcia. So.
And how about this one? After his win at Daytona with Tomac, 42% of users had him winning in Indianapolis.
You just cannot figure that guy out.
Gosh. And then Marvin, it's only 61% had him in their top 5.
It blows my mind. But.
So kind of interesting.
Yep.
But yeah, like I said, you and I didn't do too well. But let's talk about some injuries real quick. Other than myself, obviously your boy Cole Martinez is out. So is Aaron Plessinger, Vince Freezy, Jason Anderson, Malcolm Stewart, Benny Bloss. But who's back?
Josh Grant.
Josh Grant is back this
33.
week. And also stick around because you do not want to miss out because coming up a little bit in the show, one, we have our discount offer for the weekend, but also we have a really cool guest caller this week, Between Two Berms with Jessy Nelson. So stick around for that. But now, let's get into it. We're going to Seattle. Here it is. This is Track Trends.
Seattle, here we come this round. Track features. Have you seen the track preview? What are your thoughts?
A lot more 180 bowl turns this weekend, so I'm very happy to see those. I'm tired of these 90-degree turns that everyone just follows to the inside.
Yeah.
But the big story here, I think, is last year was a mutter.
Way
bad.
Yeah.
We saw Reed pushing his bike up the finish line, Plessinger taking dives and puddles.
Yep.
So what, 50-50 chance of rain right now is what it's saying in the forecast, right?
Yep. So it could change the face of it.
Could change the face of the point standings.
Yep. I hope it does, honestly.
Could be interesting what we see here.
Sand section.
Yeah.
Is it going to, the riders kind of joined up and killed it last week.
Yeah. Good size whoops, but they always break down really bad in Seattle.
And the lime incident. I don't know. We've heard they won't use lime. They will use lime. We'll see what happens.
We will see. But coming up, though, we have some pretty interesting stats on mud races. Because if this is going to be a mudder, you definitely want to know who shines when it comes to mud races. So stick around for that. So let's get right into it because we got to talk points. Here it is. This is our top contenders. All right, so for this week's top contenders, Christian, we're going into Seattle. with the chance of it being a mud race, 50-50 right now. Things could change, but we want to give some stats on the mud races that we've seen this year, plus going back to Seattle last year to help you kind of know who might be a little bit better as far as results go when it comes to a mud race.
That's right.
We'll start with Tomac here. So Tomac, Anaheim won this year. He went 3rd place. I'm not going to call that a full mudder because they're still doing on the jumps, but it was wet and super sloppy.
Yeah.
But then you go to San Diego where Tomac won, and then last year he won in Seattle in the mud.
So Mud
Favors
well.
Tomac. Yeah, he does well. Webb went 5th at A1, 8th in San Diego, and then he went 5th at Seattle last year.
So I would say that's down from what else, like Mud.
Not what you'd expect.
It kind of affects him, you know, in
Okay.
worse more than good.
All right, what about Marv?
Marvin, he's not bad either. He did 8th at A1, 3rd in San Diego, and 3rd in Seattle last year.
I think the 8th at A1, though, he had an injured knee. I don't think we can
Something wasn't put together yet,
but-
so I don't think Mud really affects him as much either.
Okay.
This guy, on the other hand.
Baggett's not the best mud rider, peeps. Listen up. So Baggett this year, Anaheim won 12th, and then at San Diego, he went 9th, and then Seattle last year, he was 8th.
And I swear, after 12th at A1, we all were like, yeah, he doesn't do good in the mud.
No,
you kind of tend to forget until it's over.
Yeah, he's not the
so.
greatest mud rider. And then, what do you got for Roxon?
Ken Roxon, 2nd in Anaheim, 3rd in San Diego. He didn't race Seattle last year, of course. So these 4 should be all right. Baggett's the one I'm kind of worried about of the top contenders.
Okay.
Something
So
to think about.
those are some of your mud results. Now let's just talk about some of the stats here. Interesting, when we talk about Cooper Webb first, he hasn't gone more than 2 rounds without winning or leading laps this year.
Yeah, I mean, I just like the consistency out of that dude.
And he hasn't started worse than 8th in the last 13 main event gate drops.
Yeah, he's up there.
Gosh,
every
he's been
time.
consistent. What else we got here? Go for it.
He's been on the podium every East Coast round, only took the podium twice on the West Coast. His average standard round overall finish by coast, West was 6th, East was 1.6, which that's legendary to me. But
So he's absolutely crushing it.
in his last 5 finishes, 1-2, 1-2, 3. So
Wow.
he's solid.
Now with Muscan, so he just dominated the last week's moto. He took the whole shot, led every lap. So he ended his round 11 with no doubt of wins or laps led, or excuse me.
He had gone 11 rounds without leading laps or winning,
Okay.
so he finally ended that.
He has the 2nd best average overall finish on the season with 3.45. So what do you think? Are you going to put him for the win this week?
I'm really thinking about it. I mean, he's been quiet all year, and now look at him. He's 2nd in the points.
What's interesting about Muscan, people, here, this is a good one. He has finished the same or 1 or 2 spots different than where he has qualified
Qualifying matters.
every round since A1. So look at Marvin's qualifying to
Whether
kind of
it's
get a good
good
idea.
result or a bad result, he qualifies there. And
Okay.
another thing interesting with him is he's finished 2nd overall in the last 3 West Coast rounds before we went east. And after he won Indy last year, he was on the podium for the rest of the season.
All right.
So he could get hot too.
Now, let's go to Blake Baggett over here. Like we just talked about, not the strongest mud results, but he had good passes in Indy. He rode really well, so his confidence is high. So maybe he turns things around. I don't know. But you look at his East Coast average finish, 6.6, which is almost as good as his West Coast average of 6.25. So
Even
he's
though
been
he
consistent.
DNF'd.
That's true. He did DNF.
But he hasn't had back-to-back podiums this year, which kind of worries me about him.
Okay.
And he hasn't finished in the top 5 for the last 5 rounds. Or he has finished in the top 5 for the last 5 rounds, and less than 40% are still picking him.
Really?
So you got to have confidence in him a little bit there. Mud kind of hurts it, but we'll see.
Yeah, his last 5 finishes, 4.5242. So the man is a top 5 guy, people. Put Baggett in your top 5. But now let's talk about Tomac here. Real quick.
Is he your guy this week?
He's placed 4 3 times and 6 2 times this year. Last week, no, he's not my guy right now. It's a confidence or a mental thing with this guy. I do not know what's going on.
He is losing points. I blame the bike more than him last week.
Don't take that up.
He was
no.
struggling in the whoops, and it didn't look right. Something was
We're too
off.
far along at this point in this season.
It's hard for me to blame him for anything. I'm blaming the bike.
But here you go, though. He's won 2 of the 3 rounds he's qualified first at. So if he's fast in Seattle, he's qualifying first,
He was
could be
one
a
there.
sign.
He does good in the mud, no doubt.
All right, and then his average finish on the West was 3. His starts were 7. His average finish for 2019 is 4.09. And he has a 3rd best overall finish, which is kind of,
Tied with Roxon.
yeah, it's interesting. But look at his last 5 finishes, 12-1, 6-1, 4.
I know. He's
Kind of all over the map.
place.
Now, you were saying that Roxon isn't a top 5 guy.
It just reminded me of
Tell me
that
why.
old song, Roxanne. He needs to turn on the red light because something is bad here. I mean, he took 4th twice. Now he's taken 8th twice. The results aren't the greatest, but then I saw on Racer X2 him talking about there's something going on. He's getting tired. That really makes me worry about him
kind of dealing
right
with some
now.
health issues.
Yeah, so he's finished 8th overall in the last 2 rounds, like I said. His second finish of the season out of the top 5 after being in the top 5 up until that point. And he's dropped to the 4th best average overall finish at 4.09. But he still has the 2nd best average finish on the West Coast at 3.25. So he's doing good before he went east. And he took the podium in 3 out of 5 West Coast rounds so far this year.
All right, but his last 5 finishes 2, 4, 4, 8, 8. So something's going on with the guy. So you don't think he's a top 5 guy this weekend?
At the last 4 rounds, if I put him in my top 5 or even think about it, it's 5th place. So he's on the edge.
All right, well, there you have it. Those are our top contenders. What do you guys think? Is Tomac come back, charge for the win? Is Webb going to start kind of maybe playing a little bit safe? We shall see what's going on. But now we got to talk about him. Here it is. This is our weekly spoilers. All right, so for this week's weekly spoilers, we have 3 riders who have already cracked the top 5. One of them is going to be a surprise for you. If you're watching, you know he's on the table right now. Ken Roxon.
Osborne's kind of an exception.
On his board is the exception this week.
I threw that in there. So.
All right, but we already talked about Ken Roxon. You already heard Christian spiel on why he doesn't feel he's a solid top 5 guy, but you still got to consider him for a top 5.
It's no hate against him. I think something's really wrong.
I just feel like you're kind of taking a risk at this point with the guy, so I'm not really disagreeing with you on there. But Justin Barcia, though, he came back. He, for sure, last week was my biggest surprise.
Oh, no doubt.
I did not expect him to be in the top 5.
No doubt. He enacted Barcia.
And they didn't even say his name really throughout the whole broadcast. So when he finished there, I was like, oh, Barcia got 5th.
Saw the ticker and was shocked. So
yeah, it was pretty interesting. But he's done well at mud races. He won Anaheim 1. Mm-hmm. San Diego, he was running in the top 5, and then his bike expired. Mm-hmm. So if we do get a mudder in Seattle, I don't see why Justin Barcia couldn't be another top 5 guy easily.
No, before he went out, his finishes were 21-9, 7-7, and then a 5th last week. So
he's right there.
Been up there.
All right, Joey Savacci, he's cracked the top 5 multiple times this year.
All on the East, though.
Yes, that is true.
All on the East.
So his East Coast average finish is 5.8. West Coast, 14.67.
Oh, yeah. The West Coast finishes were horrible. 16-8, 21, and 7.
Yeah, but you know what, though? He's had a lot of time. That was his first races on the 450. So I think at this point, you can kind of throw those poor finishes aside. I think he's got the speed each week. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it.
Been doing better. He's more solid now than he was then.
Yeah.
But still, in my mind, I'd like to know that.
Okay.
So
now for Osborne, though, he hasn't done the top 5. You wanted him up here. Give me some reasons why.
I mean, he's taken 6th and 7th the last 2 rounds. He's a past champion. And if he starts getting a little bit of confidence in a start,
yeah,
I don't know. Anything's possible in a mud race. So.
No, well, not even just a mud race. I think Zach Osborne could be a podium guy any one of these weekends if he just gets to start.
Oh, return of the Zach. Yep, I agree. Let's go.
But there they are. Those are some of the weekly spoilers. Again, riders that have all cracked the top 5 already. If you're watching, what do you think? Who's going to be the next spoiler? Or is there a rider? Chad Reed, honorable mention.
Yeah.
He did well.
He did good in San Diego.
Yeah.
He likes the mud.
He does like the mud.
He did good there last year, pushing his bike up the finish line jump.
So if it is a mud race, maybe throw Chad Reed in one of those top spots. Even in outdoors last year, that one race he had on JGR, he whole-shotted at least one of the motos.
Yeah.
So he always likes the mud for some reason. But there they are. Those are the weekly spoilers. But now let's get into it. What's the wild card this week?
6th place.
Ooh, that's a tough one. Here it is. It's wild card watch.
Wild card this week, 6th place. It's way close to the top 5. So our way of thinking here is, riders that haven't made the top 5 in a while, trying to crack it for the first time. That group is who we're going with.
Okay.
Dean Wilson, he took 4th at A1, took 5th overall at A2. So
But other than that, though, hasn't really.
We haven't really mentioned him much since.
I expected him to be up there more. He's taken 6th once, but you look at his last 5 finishes: 8, 11, 8, 11, 9.
But you got to think the mud is going to take somebody or a group of people out.
Yeah, but you can't assume it's going to be a mudder at this point. Well, who knows? We'll see. All right. Now, Brayton.
Justin Brayton's been all over the place, too. He's only made top 5 once this year, Minneapolis. He's taken 5th once, 7th twice this season. He took 20th at Seattle last year, but...
Yeah, it was a hardcore mudder. But his last 5 finishes, 10, 9, 7, 9, 10. So, again, not really hovering around that 6th place. Chad Reed,
you don't know where he could be at any point. So he's been in the top 5 twice this season. One of those was at San Diego. So rough track is not going to hurt him. If anything, it's going to help him.
And Yeah, mud, you can always count that guy in. But his last 5 finishes, 11, 3, that was a Triple Crown.
Yep.
13, 10, 11. So it's still tough.
But we've learned to count him out.
All right.
Don't do it.
Now, last rider up here on the table, Cole Seeley. So Cole has taken 6th twice. He took 5th once, but that was one of the mains in a Triple Crown. But he's also taken 7th in a gate drop this year. So what do you think about him? His last 5 finishes, 11, 6, 10, 13, 12.
I think he looked better on the West than he has on the East. I don't know. He was looking good there for a while, and now he's kind of slipping back. Had some troubles at the start.
Tough with the spoiler or the wild card this week. It's almost like you're one of your weekly spoilers is right there, or it could be one of these guys. I don't know. It's getting tough.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm probably going to see qualifying, see where these guys are at, and then go from there.
Yeah, that's a good idea, especially, and also obviously look at the conditions. All right, so there it is. That is the wild card watch. 6th place this week. I feel like it's one of the toughest ones this year.
Who do you guys have? We need some input on that too.
Yeah,
so
who do you guys have?
One.
Now, coming up next, I'm pumped. We got him on the show, Jessy Nelson. If you're not familiar with him, he is a past Supercross, motocross factory rider. We're going to get him on the phone, and this is Between Two Berms with Jessy Nelson. All right, so here he is. We have him on the phone. This is Between Two Berms with Jessy Nelson. Jessy, thanks for calling in. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Doing good. Doing
couldn't
good.
be better. Talking fantasy.
Yeah, good to be on here.
Well, hey, so kind of tell us what you've been up to. We know you're doing the UTV racing thing. You've had some really cool video projects that have come out. So tell the fans what you've been up to, what you got going on, and what you have planned for the rest of the year.
Well, first of all, we got to start calling it side-by-sides because UTVs are utility vehicles.
Okay, all right. Fair enough.
I'm just messing. I've been racing side-by-sides now. I only got a couple races, probably like 5 total now. DNF 2. Yeah, but I've had some wins, and I'm just learning. It's cool to just have a completely new outlook on racing, and I'm such a beginner at it too, and it's just starting fresh kind of deal. So it's been fun and doing some video content with some of the partners I have along and sponsorships, and it's been going well. I'm having fun.
Yeah. So what are the videos called, and where can people go watch these?
Sweet documentary.
Well, I have my documentary, Silver Linings. I did with Ryan Walters. We worked really hard with that, and it took us a while to get it done and just find all the old footage and try to piece it together. It's a lot harder than you think.
I'll believe it.
A video like that together. And Silver Linings. You can go to my YouTube channel, just Jessy Jessy Nelson, and doing that. And I've got a couple like race recap videos, and I did a bike giveaway. I gave away one of my last amateur bikes that I had with TLD Honda. I gave it away to somebody close, and I'll have that posted soon, and you guys can check that out. But just having fun with it, and still trying to do therapy and keep improving. Got an experimental surgery coming up here soon, beginning of April. I was supposed to have it actually last week, but got pushed back. So waiting on that.
Right on. So I'm kind of curious with the UTV racing thing, and be honest here, did you think because you were, top tier motocross, supercross racer, did you think that racing side-by-side, did you think that racing side-by-side would come easier than it has? Or was there more of a learning curve than you expected?
Yes and no. I think there's a lot of things that transfer over. I think the way it's hard for me to set up 4 shocks, but I can set up one really well on dirt bike.
Yeah.
So I think I have a good feel when it comes to compression or rebound or just the way
how the machine's handling.
It's kind of handling, or the way it's fading, or I don't know. There's a lot more technical things that go into it than you would think on a machine like that. I mean, it's practically like a mini trophy truck now. Like they're just advancing so much, and the power on them is unbelievable. But as far as like braking and tire selection and things like that, and knowing what it can do and where to push when it's slick or rocky or it's sandy, like that transfers over a lot. And then being able to read jumps. I mean, a lot of people say, "Oh, the side-by-sides are so sketchy. Look at all the crash videos on Instagram and all these things, or YouTube or whatever." But like a lot of those people, I'm not saying all of them, but a majority of those people have never had any sort of motorsport background or experience, I think, and they go buy this badass, side-by-side that can do 90 miles an hour and they go huck some jump with a peeked out little lip and no transition. Like that's no matter what vehicle or motorcycle you're on, that's going to destroy you.
Yeah, I think side-by-sides give a false sense of security for the average person.
Yep.
So
yeah, but no,
seen some
it's
crazy
amazing what
things.
they can go through. And then I've rolled mine a couple times, and half the time I can't even tell that I'm rolling. Like when I hit the ground, like they're pretty
Wow.
safe, but they can also be very dangerous.
sure.
No doubt.
So
So can walking down the street. So
yeah.
so here.
All right, Christian, what you got here?
Well, we have you on, the fantasy show. We had some questions for you about fantasy. Have you played in the past? What do riders say about it? That kind of thing.
I think it's awesome. It was really fun. I just sucked at it. I would forget to pick,
Oh,
or
you're the rollover guy.
yeah. So all my picks from the weekend before would roll over, and I'd always like to pick random guys. I'd always put my friends at the top.
The bias guy, too.
Yeah, I'd always want to put my friends there because I always feel bad. I'm like, I got to pick my friends. Like,
We've all been there.
He was my teammate.
We've all been there.
yeah, they wouldn't carry me sometimes, but it's racing and it's hard. I mean, you can't X a rider out just because he's had a couple bad races. It's a tough game to do with racing, with mental and physical
Yeah.
and everything like that. It's a lot more than people think, and people can bench race all they want and talk, but until they're in that position, I don't think they should really count people out.
Well, we had a conversation just a few weeks ago about how, you look at some of the guys who are getting lapped in the main event, and some people question why they're even there that night. And those people don't realize that guy that's getting lapped is still one of the best Supercross riders in the world, and you can't take away any credit from that rider.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, yeah. That person will go to any local race and pretty much
Destroy.
Anyone shows up, I bet.
All right. Well, here's another question for fantasy. So we're looking at, you've got Tomac, Webb, and Musquin, your top three right now. But Tomac's been fading. So I'm kind of curious, Jesse, what do you think is the biggest surprise at this point in the season? The fact that Cooper Webb...
I think Roxon's still a top three guy. I think
you think
just
so?
going through some stuff, yeah.
Okay. Well, right now, you got
a lot of mental things with him, and off the track. But Musquin, Tomac, and Webb. I mean, Webb's he's taking it to another level, and it's cool to see. I mean, I was just a couple years ago, I was battling with him, so that's cool to see, and to see that the confidence that he gets in himself.
Oh, yeah.
Is pretty remarkable. It almost reminds you of something like a Sean Palmer thing. And then Tomac, I mean, I don't know what to say. Musquin put it down last weekend, and Tomac's struggling a little bit. But watch, he has one good race, and he'll get on a roll. But I think Webb's got a pretty cushioned lead right now.
Do you think it's Webb's to lose at this point, or do you think Tomac or Musquin could take it from him?
It's tough to say. I mean, anything can happen. It's racing. You never know. Just look at Anderson last year too with the spoke thing. If he wouldn't have had that cushion, he could have been screwed.
Yeah.
And there's 6 races. That's a lot of racing to go.
Yeah, and we still have a Triple Crown.
And points are closest than they've ever been. So
it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's anybody's game at this point, and I wouldn't count anybody out, but it is looking in a little more favor towards Webb right now.
Do you think Musquin?
Last weekend when he landed on that tough block, it's like nothing can go wrong for him right now.
I know.
Sometimes that's how it goes. When you're on, you're on.
Yeah.
True.
Do you think Musquin pulls the move he pulled on Tomac last year on Webb?
Absolutely not.
I was just wondering that. It's like, will it come? If it came down to that, does Musquin just take Webb out, or vice versa?
I don't think it's worth it in the long run. They still got outdoors the rest of the season. They're teammates. They train together. Like it's a can of worms. I don't think either one of them want to open up.
Fair enough. All right, Jesse. Last question. Obviously, we're going to Seattle this weekend. The track really breaks down, gets super ruddy. I don't know. I haven't looked at the forecast yet. We'll see.
It's like a 50% rain.
So give it.
Open stadium too, right?
Yep. Give us your podium this weekend. Does Musquin continue the momentum? Does Tomac come back and get a win? What do you think?
I'm thinking it's going to be Tomac for the win this weekend, or Musquin. Those are my 2 picks because it's going to be tricky. Tomac can send it. I think Webb's going to start playing cautious at this point.
Okay.
Where he's going to be like, all right, damage, just get seconds, thirds, and just be smart. That's what I would do personally. But you can't really play defense like that. You got to race to the finish. But I mean, I'm thinking Tomac or Muscan, but Kenny can always come out. He's a technical rider too. I don't know. There's a lot of good guys. We'll see.
Yeah. See, it's hard.
Yeah,
People
it's
don't realize.
tough.
Even for a racer, it's hard.
Okay, I don't want to say something, and then it totally backfires on me, and then
That never happens.
All right. Well, hey, man, appreciate you so much for calling in.
Yep.
Thanks for giving the update on what you've been up to. So remember, guys, go watch Silver Lining. It's on your YouTube channel. And tell these people what your Instagram is so people can give you a follow, too.
Oh, yeah. If you have Instagram, Jessy Nelson, Jessy, Nelson 79. Trying to post some more cool content and just kind of let people know what I've been up to and keep it going. Have fun.
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, hey, man, appreciate it. So keep doing what you're doing. Have fun this weekend, and good luck on your picks for Seattle.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
We'll talk to you.
All right.
Bye.
Good checking in on him.
He's a good guy.
I
And
like that.
very interesting. One point that I do want to point out is he said that Webb might be playing it more safe at this point.
You got to wonder when he's going to start doing it.
He has to at some point, so that is a good point that he brought up. I'm glad he did. But there it is. That is Between Two Burns with Jessy Nelson. But now you know what time it is.
Time to lock him in.
Let's do it. All right, Christian, this week, before I tell my picks, dude, we had a minor scrape with Jim and Daniel. They've been gaining some points on us a little bit week after week. After this week, we have an open wound. Carotid artery is gushing.
It's time to do something.
We
Put
have
up or shut up.
got to redeem ourselves here. Otherwise, they're going to catch and pass us. So my picks this weekend, I think Marv continues this streak. He's going to win. Blake Bag at a half or second, but I'm going to see how conditions are. If it's a mutter, not going to be in second place, most
The worse
likely.
the track looks, the farther you can push him back.
Eli Tomac I've got for third. Cooper Webb. I like what Jesse said on the phone. I think Cooper is going to go into more management at this point. If he feels like pushing it is going to possibly cause him to have something crash, then I put him in fourth. I got Justin Barsha. I think he repeats in fifth.
Martial law.
Ken Rock's in sixth place. That's my
You
wild
just
card.
can't leave him out of your picks. It feels weird without
But he's not my top five.
Yeah.
All right. What do you got?
I'm going back to Tomac in first. I know he's going to be good on that rough track, or if it's clean or whatever's going on there, he's going to be good. Webb, I'm moving him up to second. He always just gets good starts, and I think in a muddy or a rough track, being out in front's going to help him a lot. Marvin in third. Barsha, I'm moving up to fourth. He looked fresh last week. Roxon, I know we just said he's
No,
looking
don't
rough,
we.
but
You.
As of right now, I'm putting him in fifth because I'm with you. It feels weird.
You're
without him
so
there.
contradicting.
It
You
feels
say
weird.
Roxon's not it, and then you put him in there.
We know how fantasy goes, dude. And then the wild card, I'm going with Chad Reed. But before I lock them all down, I have a theory between.
I don't feel good about your picks this week.
Hold on. I have a theory with these four. The top dudes right now.
Who?
Where they've all learned from Grandpa Dungy in the past years of his style, his technique. Be conservative the whole year and hope everyone crashes out. Now this year, it seems like they've all tried to do it at the same time, and that doesn't work. It doesn't work when everybody does that. So Webb was the only one that was willing to push it, get those wins, get that lead. Now he can pull a little bit of a Dungy and let these guys fight it out, I feel like. So that's my reasoning here.
Okay.
But I also just feel like, if it's a rough track, he's going to get a good start and want to stay away from everybody. So other than Roxon, I feel pretty good here. After qualifying, we might change it out. I don't know.
Sounds good. Well, there you have it. Our picks are locked in. What do you guys think of Christian picks? I don't know. He's kind of contradicting himself. Chad Reed in sixth. We shall see. Anyhow, what do you guys think? But now, we need to tell you why you wanted to play an RMFantasy SX. Here it is. It's our prize recap.
All right, before we get into weekly prizes, grand prizes this week, everybody's already a winner because today and tomorrow, if you go on the website, use Blockade10 offer code, you'll get extra 10% off the MSR Blockade Roost Deflector. You see this guy do a product spotlight on it.
Yeah, it's a good one.
So make sure to hit that up. But back to the prizes. The weekly prizes this week, top 100 scorers are going to get Cylinder Works Standard Big Bore or Standard Bore High Compression Cylinder Kit and Supercross 2, the video game. Second place, a Cherubi Spinning Spree. Third place, Liat GPX 5.5 neck brace. Then other prizes coming in from Magura, Pro Honda, Fly Racing, Pirelli, Fox, ODI, Bell, and of course 90 Rocky Mountain gift cards, so 100 chances to win this week alone.
Yep, and remember, you don't have to have been playing all year long. You can still sign up today and win a prize tomorrow. It's that easy. So grand prizes though, for people who've been in it since day one. First place, Race Prep KTM 450 SXF. Second place, Race Prep KTM 250 SXF. We got a Moab Red Rock giveaway. We got an MEC trip, Brock Glover Legend Ride, Fly Racing Gear and Casual Package, Milestone Video Game, Supercross to the Game, console and 4K TV, Tusk Impact wheel sets. We got Motion Pro tools, Oakley goggle, and sunglasses. Lots of prizes.
A lot up for grabs. So.
Yep. So remember, go to RMFantasySX.com, create your account. It is free to play. Pick your top 5 and the wild card, and then see how much more exciting the races get for you.
It's guaranteed to better your life.
It is. Christian, what about our group?
Make sure to hit the group button on there, join our group, RM Fantasy SX Rivals, compete with us, tell us you're beating us.
Yep. Don't be the rollover guy. Click on the button to get the calendar for notifications. That way you always get your picks in on time. That simple. Well, thanks for watching or listening. I am Chase.
I'm Christian.
We'll see you next week.